Good morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are from. I'm wishing you a great day. My name is Daphne Resnick, and I am the creator and founder of the Free at 50 blog, as well as the administrator of this fantastic community of you all, and that is the Ditching the 9 to 5 Facebook community. I'm really excited as we've been focusing on social media for the past few weeks to have Gali Cabili with me this morning. She is actually, it's afternoon for her. She's going to be jumping in from the UK, and we're going to be talking about one of her specialties, and that is social media strategy. And with that, Gali actually runs a marketing club that I've joined recently, and we'll put a link in at the end for you to be able to do the same thing. I found so much value in it. And one of the things that I've really loved about Gali and her work is, the way she approaches social media so authentically. And that is going to be the topic today, that we're going to be talking about features versus benefits and how you are expressing yourself in social media. Good morning, afternoon.
Hi, good morning to you. It's early morning for you in the US.
Yeah, early for some. So I think we're going to have people from the West Coast and further over from me watching on replay. But yes, hopefully we'll have a few live this morning in case anyone has questions. But of course, I'll say it at the front. If you guys put any questions in while you watch it on replay, do put hashtag live or hashtag replay in the comments. And if you have any questions, put them in and we'll get back with you. We'll watch for those. So let's jump right into it. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe, your background and what you're doing right now?
Sure. So I started out in marketing over 15 years ago. And the funny thing is I started by chance. I was doing social media 15 years ago for a company, and social media marketing was very different at the time. It was easy. You had a Facebook page, you put out a post, and everyone who follows you could see that there was no adverts, I think Facebook. Yeah. So everything was organic, and it was literally you post something on social and everyone sees it. And so I've worked in marketing for many years. I worked with most of my career, I worked with charities and non-profits. And that's what kind of inspired me to focus on ethical marketing, because when you work with a non-profit, you're not marketing a product, but you market fundraising for a cause. So you have to tap into people's emotions,
right,
but do it in an ethical way and in a non-sleazy, non-salesy way. So that's what attracted me to marketing back in the day. And yeah, so I've worked in marketing for, as I said, over 15 years, both in corporate with nonprofits and as a self-employed with business owners and entrepreneurs, especially with women who have their own business, because I found it sometimes really hard for women to put themselves out there and market themselves. So that's why I chose to focus on that audience.
Excellent. So what brought us here today is one of the posts that I've read that you wrote about features and benefits, and really, sharing, and we'll get into that. Really, it's about, what is the obstacle that people are facing today? And you hit the nail on the head. It's advertisements. When I worked in corporate, my last gig there was working with cooperative marketing programs, and I wasn't the web person or the marketing person, but I worked with a company that did our web presence for us, and just to get to a point with search engine optimization. And now it's almost the same with social media. I mean, it's almost just as difficult as ranking on Google to get seen on Facebook. So the obstacle is that people not only limited space, but limited time and attention, and you have to grab the reader, and that's what you specialize in. So tell us a little bit about grabbing the reader and then defining benefits and features and your concept of that.
Absolutely. So you mentioned attention span, and the people's attention span online is getting shorter and shorter every year. I mean, if you just a couple of years ago, the common advice was you have 7 to 8 seconds to grab someone's attention online, which seemed like a very short period of time, but now it's even shorter.
Wow.
So when there's the what I call the scroll culture, people just scroll on social media, and what catches the eye or the ear makes them stop the scroll. So how do you actually do that? Now you actually have people say 3 to 5 seconds. I would say 2 to 3, depending on the platform. On TikTok, you have 2 to 3 seconds to grab someone's attention before they scroll on to the next one. So it's really important to grab people's attention. And the first thing you need to do when you write a post for social media, for example, is to start with a hook. You need to hook them in. But to create the hook, a hook is a one-liner that makes people actually stop the scroll and read your post, or listen to, if it's a video, watch your video, or listen to your whatever they're listening to. So you only have those 2 to 3 seconds to grab attentions. And the way to do it, you need to, before you actually write the hook, which is, I'm going to give you some examples on how to actually write the hook, but you have to take a few things into consideration before you actually create the content. And the first thing you need to do is start with your goals. You need to decide what you want to do with that particular post. Do you want to sell?
Yes.
Do you want to sell something? Do you want to drive people to your sales page or your website or your blog? Do you want to increase awareness of you, of your brand, your business? Do you want to grow your following, to increase your following? So you need to decide on the goal before you actually create the post. And once you're clear on that, you need to identify who you're actually talking to. And that way you can create the perfect hook to hook them in. So how do you identify the person you want to hook in? You need to think about, there's something, I don't like the term ideal client avatar when people talk about this, because I think in marketing, we need to tap into the personal connection. So I don't believe in creating avatars like a fictional character or someone, you give her a name, an occupation.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
All she is. Does she have this or that? Does she have pets? I don't believe in any of that. And what I do is I try to simplify marketing as much as I can. So how do you identify the person you want to speak to? Is you need to just find one person who actually needs what you offer. And what they need from you comes from two places. It comes from a place of need, but also from a desire.
Yeah.
And once you identify, because they're two different things. If you go shopping and you see something you like, oh, I gotta have that. You feel like you need to have that, but you actually want to have that. That's a desire. It's not a need.
Right.
So you need to think of who actually needs, like desperately needs what I have to offer. And you talk to that person and you create a hook to make them stop to scroll. And I'll give you some examples. I was actually talking to someone on Instagram last week, and she has a travel blog, and she was trying to create reels on Instagram. And she started her reel with travel tip of the day. And she said to me, no one actually watched that. And so I asked her, what was the actual tip of the day? What did you talk about in that reel? And she said, it was funny, but it's true. When you travel in Europe, you need to make sure you have some pocket money, you have some change, because in public toilets in Europe, you actually have to pay to get in to use the toilet.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So that was her tip. And I said to her, okay, so your hook, your first line, when you put that reel on Instagram or TikTok, is not the travel tip of the day. The hook should be, are you traveling in Europe? You need to hear this. So that would make people stop the scroll and say, oh, okay, I'm going to Europe. What do I need to hear? What do I need to know? What is it that I must know before I go into Europe? Or she was going around bakeries to try and find the best places. So I said to her, you have to be specific. The best macaroons in London, that's a hook for someone who's looking for that particular thing.
Yeah.
If you're selling a service, a coaching service, or a done for you service, what are you helping them with? And your hook should be a one-liner that's intriguing and appealing. Like I can give you a form.
It needs to be specific,
It
right?
needs to be specific, and you can follow a formula with a fill in the blank, so that can suit any business. For example, a hook can be how to fill in the achieve a goal in 30 minutes to avoid a problem.
Right.
So how to create a social media post in under 10 minutes to make people watch it.
Excellent. Yes. And that really is the definition of the benefit versus, kind of the whole idea of just sort of being very vague in general. You got to like hit on the specific benefit to a person.
Yes, absolutely. And, benefits, business owners tend to list whether it's on social media or on a sales page on a website or in an email to their list. They tend to often list the features rather than the benefits of what they sell. And, people buy with emotion first. You have to remember, they buy with emotion first, logic comes second. So once they go with their emotion and they want to buy that thing, then they start to explain, or use logic to explain it to themselves why they actually need that product or service. So the way to do it is focus on the benefits. What are the benefits of using your product or your service? So for example, I can give you a real life one. Just after Christmas, my husband and I were looking for a new Hoover. I think you call it a vacuum cleaner in the US.
Yeah.
So we were sitting and looking on Amazon. We needed a new Hoover because we have carpets, and he started saying all these features to me. Oh, this one has a long cord, or it has a button. When you press it, it flips over. And I was like, no, just give me something that works fast,
right.
quickly, and can do the living room in like 10 minutes rather than half an hour. That's a benefit.
Want the details.
Yeah.
And so like I would say with joining your marketing club, right, a feature would be that you have lists of prompts or lists of hooks. A benefit would be if you need hooks that convert clients. Yeah. And so same thing like with my 3-2-1 program, what I've been putting on my sales copy, rather than saying I will do A, B, C, D, it's more like you will assess your goals, you will, right? And so it's about the end result. That's really the difference between features and benefits, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you sell the result, you don't sell the features.
Right. And then it's not really a sell either, because like you said, it's a feeling. People know that they need a certain thing. And when you're talking about features, it's like, oh, that's nice, or it's a list. But when it grabs the heart, if they know they need to nail down their goals, or they need to take an action.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
And and the benefit can also look, we talked about results, but it can actually be, if you're selling a coaching program, what's the desired outcome? If you're a life coach, then you would say, I can help you find your life purpose in 4 weeks so that you can find the job you like, or whatever the outcome is. You sell the desired outcome. What's the desired outcome? What do you want to achieve by the end?
This really goes into, and I'm not against life coaches. I know we have life coaches in the group probably, and I'm not against life coaching, but people always talk about defining your niche or narrowing it, and it sounds so, I don't know, I don't know what the word is, but the point is, it's really true. You do need to do that, right? So you do need to figure out exactly what it is you're going to help somebody with. So maybe if somebody is recently divorced and needs to figure out how to start a business, or a new mom that wants to stay home, or do work from home or something like that. So you really do need to be a little bit specific.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And I can give you another example. I worked with someone who has an education business. She provides tutoring for children.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say, when you think of the person you want to speak to,
Right.
or who is your target audience, don't just say it's mums of school children who need tutoring lessons.
That could be
it could be anybody. But what I say is, if you want to go deeper and go specific, think about it this way. Who is someone who's really pushed to the wall? Now, I'm being extreme, but
no, I know what you're saying, though. Moms that have worked full time and blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
A mom who works full time, she doesn't have the time or the resources to help their child. On top of that, why does she need tutoring? Her child has an exam at school, and he wants to get into the next level school, and he needs to pass the exams. Yeah. So when you push to the wall, it's like, what will happen if that child doesn't get the tutor? They will fail the exam, or they'll be left behind. They'll need to catch up on their studies. They'll lose their confidence, because if they're not doing well at school, they're feeling less confident. Right. And here comes mental health and lots of other issues. So think about it this way: who is pushed to the wall to that level that they desperately need what you have to offer, and they need to give you their money and buy from you?
Yeah, that's fantastic. And it's, in the end, it is sales. We're all in here because we are either, and I know the majority of the group either has a side hustle or is thinking about leaving their 9-to-5. And we're all in here to figure out a way to put food on the table and keep a roof over our head, even if it's a van like my friend Stacy, whatever it is, whatever lifestyle you want. In the end, there has to be some money. So sales sounds icky, but if you put it from what benefit can your skills and your talent and your passion bring to the world, and bring to somebody specific that is of value enough for them to invest in it, that's what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So looking at sales from a completely different mindset.
Absolutely. And, when people buy, that's really a necessity. When you buy running shoes, you need those shoes because you go running every day, and you need good shoes because you need shoes to support your back and your knees, and you can't run in uncomfortable shoes. Mm-hmm. So, you're being sold to all the time. But the thing is, with sales, you need to understand that if you flip the switch from a place of selling to serving, because you're serving
Absolutely.
people, you're giving them something that they need and that only you can offer them. And that's another issue. How do you differentiate yourself from others? Why should they buy from you and not from someone else?
And that's why I think everybody needs to have a blog on their website, and even though you're not a blogger, you write blog posts, right, about social media marketing and your potential clients. And I think that differentiating yourself, just going back to that, it is about serving, not sales. That's really what it is. And with that, keep in mind, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. You're not going to be needed by everybody, but there's billions of people out there, so many people that are available online for you to find the group that really needs you the most. And that's how doing social media properly can help.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. So I definitely, Gali, I want you to put your Facebook group and your marketing club links in the notes following in the comments, because I cannot tell you guys enough, for $7 a month, and you can cancel anytime. It's not like a year contract, but you can get updated prompts, ideas, and advice like this direct from Gali every month, constantly at your fingertips, and even download things. So real important. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments and we'll respond to them. And if you want to work one-on-one to kind of nail down what you're doing and set up a blog to enhance your business and differentiate yourself, my 321 program is active for you too. Take care, and thank you so much.
I highly recommend working with Daphne because she is an action taker. She's really, I mean, I love the way you work. So,
Thank you. Thank you. And yes, that's my whole 321 take action. That's the thing. It's like, it's so easy to get into analysis paralysis or shiny objects and all of these things. And I think if you have one objective and one goal, work at that and stay the course. Thank you so much.
thank you for having me.
Have a great day.
You too.